The atomic bomb. Technology played a significant role during World War II. Major advances in weaponry, communications, and industry impacted the war in terms of how it was fought and the eventual outcome. On the ground there were tanks. In the air there were special aircrafts and radars. In the ocean came the biggest change in naval technology, with the aircraft carrier being designed. Explosives, which will be our main topic of discussion, included different bombs, but most importantly the atomic bomb. There were also advancements in communication by using secret codes. Lastly, new medicine was discovered, such as penicillin. To start off, here is an image of the Fat Man bomb, which was one of the atomic bombs that was used in World War II. The atomic bomb wasn't invented at the start of the war. However, scientists discovered that a powerful explosion could be made if an atom were to be split. This type of bomb could essentially destroy large cities in a single blast. It would ultimately change warfare forever. Albert Einstein was the scientist that came up with the many theories that helped scientists create the atomic bomb. When he first found out what this bomb could do, Einstein was scared that Germany and Hitler would make the bomb first. Einstein then wrote a letter to President Franklin Roosevelt informing him about the atomic bomb. Because of this, Roosevelt set up the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project was the name for the research and development program for the atomic bomb. When it first started, it was small. However, as the bomb began to become more real, the United States added more scientists in order to be able to have the first bomb. Funding for this project eventually reached about $2 billion and included around 200,000 people working on it. The first atomic bomb was exploded in the New Mexico desert on July 16, 1945. The explosion was massive and led the way to further advances to be made. The world's first nuclear explosion was made possible by the use of plutonium, which is a man-made element produced in nuclear reactors. It's created when an atom of uranium-238 absorbs a neutron and becomes plutonium-239. Uranium-235 was used to create the world's second nuclear explosion. This is due to the isotope becoming unstable when it is struck by a neutron. In all, the isotopes uranium-235 and plutonium-239 were used by the scientists because they readily undergo fission. Fission occurs when a neutron strikes the nucleus of either isotope, which splits the nucleus into small parts and releases a tremendous amount of energy. A nuclear chain reaction then occurs, which causes an atomic explosion. As mentioned before, the first atomic bomb was tested in the New Mexico desert. Scientists discovered that the temperature at the center of the explosion was 3 times hotter than the center of the sun. Due to the fact that the explosive was massive, it was equivalent to 18,000 tons of TNT. The scientists were initially happy that they had successfully created the bomb. However, they were also sad and fearful because they knew that the bomb could change the world and could cause massive destruction and death. An atomic bomb named Little Boy, which is pictured on the right, was dropped on Hiroshima, Japan on August 6, 1945. The explosion was huge and caused mass destruction on the city. Tens of thousands of people were killed as a result. The bomb was dropped by a plane named the Enola Gay, which was piloted by Colonel Paul Tibbets. The bomb itself was over 10 feet long and weighed around 10,000 pounds. A small parachute was attached to the bomb in order to slow its drop and allow the plane time to fly away from the blast zone. The Fat Man, which is pictured on the bottom, was the name of the plane that was dropped on Nagasaki, Japan. It was dropped because Emperor Hirohito in Japan refused to surrender. Again, the devastation was horrible. Emperor Hirohito in Japan surrendered to the U.S. forces 6 days after the bombing of Nagasaki. The emperor announced this on the radio, which was surprisingly the first time that most Japanese people had heard his voice. Effects of the atomic bomb. The bombings in Japan left the nation in disaster and a crisis. Radioactivity was one of the most dangerous and evident effect made from the bombings. Following the explosions, materials released by the neutrons from the bomb were carried high into the atmosphere. As the fallout particles were mixed with carbon residue from citywide fires, the result was black rain. It reached ground level as a sticky, dark, dangerously radioactive water. This caused radiation poisoning to occur. Also, the radiation emitted by the bombs was high enough to kill or severely injure anyone who was exposed to it. The initial death count in Hiroshima was set at 42,000 to 93,000. After the bombing, a more reliable estimate came to be 130,000 dead as of November 1945. Nagasaki set its death toll at 60,000 to 70,000 people. The Supreme Commander of the Allied occupation imposed censorship regarding the event of the bomb. The code prohibited the publication of all reports and studies of A-bomb damages, including medical and scientific studies of all injuries and losses suffered by A-bomb victims in both Hiroshima and Nagasaki. As mentioned before, Japan surrenders, which leads to the end of the war on September 2, 1945.